Alright, hello. Uh, I'm just gonna do a quick video, throw it out here of basically where I've been for the last, I don't know, I think it's like 8 months now. So, at the end of last year, my wife and I welcomed our welcomed our baby, as you can probably tell by, you know, some baby clothes there, the baby stuff behind me, all behind me. And that's been a lot becoming a dad at like 30 years old. It has taken away any time I have to really make YouTube videos because I'm stay-at-home dad. I'm working a full-time work from home job. Plus I'm doing side gigs, when I can that are also, work from home, being full-time dad and trying to, keep house things taken care of. So it's like having two full-time jobs and two part-time jobs, more or less. And that has been a lot because prior to having my baby, I had never dealt with babies before. And my wife only got like 5 weeks of maternity leave. So I kind of got thrown into this with a 5 week old as someone who has never taken care of a baby before. So the 5 weeks that my wife, 4 or 5 weeks that my wife was off work, I was just like getting bombarded with knowledge, trying to be as prepared as I possibly could be for when I had to fully take over for when she would go back, when she had to go back to work. And there wasn't much time to prepare. So we got all of that going. It was tough, but I feel like I adjusted very well. And then that takes up most of my time. Full-time job, and then taking care of my child full time, plus all of the other things that go around with keeping up a household, and also still trying to do side work because babies are on the expensive side. Doing all of those things, and then last month in June, my dog, uh, Scout, picture of her there. If you've watched many of my videos, you've probably seen her. She loves, getting up on the arm of my chair and headbutting me or doing, whatever, just annoying me, being a funny girl. Well, about once a year she gets kind of lethargic, kind of kind of goes like through a false heat where she just gets real lethargic and doesn't really want to do much. And that lasts for 3 or 4 days, and then she's fine again. And we thought that is what was happening to her. And then after about a week went by, she was still just lethargic, just kind of moping around the house. My wife and I just kind of told each other that this isn't right. So took her to the vet, have her looked over. They ran all these tests, looked for parasites, fecal sample. They ran like 6 tests on her, and they're like, everything looks pretty good. There's some levels in her blood work that are a little high, but not anything that would be too concerning. But just based on my experience, we're gonna, go, we're gonna do some x rays. And the local vet that we have is awesome. I mean, I've never seen a vet that actually cares about every animal that comes into his facility like this man does. So they take x-rays and stuff, and then he invites me to look at these x-rays, and he shows me these like three large masses, and he's like, immediately he's like, well, those are that's what I was seeing in the blood work. I mean, that explains the numbers in the blood work, and they're already too large to try and operate on, since they're in multiple locations. Like, they weren't even close. Like, one was up near her chest, one was almost at her back hip, near her, up near the spine, and then the other one was just kind of like right in the middle on her side. And it's like, obviously it's metastasized, so it's in the blood. We could go in, cut them out. Most likely they're going to come right back. And she's already too weak, really, to recover from the surgery if we did take them out. So we can do it, but it's gonna shorten her already short lifespan, and she's gonna be miserable the whole time. So we decided, yeah, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna go home, do everything that we can to just make sure that she's happy for however long it is. And just like the the man, the vet said, he said, can't really put a time frame on it. She could be fine for a month. She could be fine for 5 more years. You know, she was only 5 years old at the time. And so, like, okay, we got some steroids we're going to give her to help, pep her up, give her more energy for this last run. And then it was like, okay, we're giving her the steroid pills twice a day, trying to get her up and moving, get her to where she can have fun. And it was like every day was a massive step down, to where she had full days where she never moved. And it was 6 days from the day that we found out to the day that my wife and I ultimately took her back to the vet and just went ahead and had her put to sleep. Because that's like day 5 and day 6, all she could move was her head. The rest of her body didn't work. I would try to get her to go outside to use the bathroom. You know, I would physically pick her up, because the few days before that, her back leg stopped working like 3 days later. And you would ask her if she wanted to go outside, and she would, like, you could see her kind of jump up, but the back legs weren't there, and she would start pulling herself with her front legs. So I would grab her and I would, like, help her, because if she wanted to walk, I was going to help her walk. So that's what we would do. I would kind of like pick up her back legs, and she would walk with her front legs, across the house to go out into the yard, and, to go use the bathroom. And it's like, I'll I'll hold you up. I'll let you use the bathroom on me. That I don't mind it one bit. And then it got to where, you would ask her, Scout, do you need to go out? And she would just kind of pick her head up and then she would lay it back down. And it's like, she's done. And you could tell she didn't want to be done. She wanted to be with me. Well, she really wanted to be with my baby. Cause what one of the last like good movements she had is she walked clear across the house to our baby's room and laid down next to her crib. So yeah, that sorry. It's been it's been almost a month since that. But June 25th we ultimately decided that she was done. There is no better. She's basically paralyzed from the neck down. She can't move anything. It's been almost a month and it's still I'm so hurt by it. I mean, it's rough. So, YouTube has not been a priority whatsoever. I mean, of course, whether it be just talking about things or playing new games or playing retro games, I do want to come back and make more content. I mean, that's something that I do legitimately enjoy. It's just that right now I have so many other things going on and it's just really tough. It's really tough. I'm really busy and I've just had a lot of things going on. If I have any spare time when, my child is asleep, I want to spend time with my wife and play some video games with my wife whenever. And maybe I'll start recording some of that stuff. But a lot of the things that we've been doing lately have been playing split screen games in the living room. And I feel like that would be a little bit more difficult to record. It would have to be a lot of, set up and then take down, whatever. When I'm in here in my office where I typically work, I don't really have any setup. I have my microphone here. It swings up and and it goes behind my monitor and it just stays there. So when I want to record, I just open up OBS or I click all the buttons that I have to turn on my light, turn on my webcam, turn on the microphone, and then I grab microphone, spin it around to in front of me, and that's it. That's all I have to do for recording. If I was to try to do it in the living room, I would have to get my OBS scene. Well, the OBS setup would only be like a one-time deal, but I would have to get uh I'd have to get microphone or two microphones set up in there with a table for them to sit on, as well as a camera, if not two cameras, if depending on if we want to do one face cam, two face cam, whatever, you know. And then that would all have to be put back away when we finished. And if you have a child, especially like a baby, you know that if you tried to set that up, there's a chance by the time you got finished setting up, that moment of calmness is over. And now you got to take care of the baby. So that's why I haven't even bothered. Cause it's like, she's out for a nap. We got 30 minutes to an hour. We can play this game for that long. So we jump on that and we basically play until she wakes up from her nap. And it's like, okay, she's done with her nap. We're done playing until whenever we can get her down again and we're not going to sleep. Because that's another major thing about having a baby is sleep is a very limited resource. You don't get a whole lot of it. I think I had a few days in a row, like 3 or 4 maybe, where I only got about 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night because that's about all I was able to get. Because obviously, a lot of people say, sleep when the baby sleeps, and it's like sometimes that's not really an option unless I can do dishes when the baby does dishes and cook dinner when the baby cooks dinner or do laundry when the baby does laundry. You know, baby's not really pulling their weight. So some of those times when she sleeps, I have to do the other things that I haven't been able to do for a little while. So your sleep gets really limited. Schedule gets crowded. Yeah. So I don't know how I'm gonna edit this, chop this up, or even which channel I'm gonna put this on. Maybe I put this on both channels. I don't know. The Wampus Dog channel that Scout is the mascot for. That channel doesn't really. I haven't done a whole lot with it. It's more. I think it's a lot more. It's a lot more for this kind of video and modern content. I mean, Retro Beard obviously is very retro centered, whether it be new tech for old consoles or old games or what have you. So, but that one has more subscribers than Wampus Dog. So I don't know if it goes on both, if it goes on one or the other. Right now, I don't know. I just wanted to basically bring this up, do this whole thing, because if you were one of the few people that were tuning in and watching my content, I've I think my last upload was, well, depending on which channel, but my last upload to YouTube of any channel I think was like 8 months ago, and I feel like I was kind of getting a rhythm there for a little while where I was uploading like between once a week and once a month, somewhere in that area. There for a little while, I had at least a upload a month, and then I just like stopped. So I just kind of wanted to share what's been going on. If anybody gives a damn, I know most likely nobody really gives a damn, but so I'm just talking out into the void. But it does feel good to kind of have that out there. And yeah, so I guess that's it. That's where I've been for the last 8 months, taking care of babies and losing battles to cancer. So, yeah. Thank you, all of you that support me. Thank you for your support. If you want to support me, it's free. Like videos, subscribe to channels, comment on comment on videos. That does great work for me as well. more comments is more traction. So if you could do any of those things, I would appreciate it. And hopefully I can get some kind of spare time to upload anything. So thank you everyone, and until next time. Smother me with your love.